Good morning, good morning, everyone. This is immigration attorney Connie Kaplan. We are in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but we help immigrants everywhere make the United States their permanent home. So today we are live on TikTok right now, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you have any immigration related questions about immigrating to the United States and especially remaining in the United States or obtaining permanent residency while you are already in the United States, let's hear them. So put them in the chat. So again, for those who joined us late, immigration lawyer Connie Kaplan here. We help immigrants make the United States their permanent home. Today, we are going to answer some of your questions, but what I want to address in particular is what sponsors someone for a US visa. So first, I am going to address a simple regular visa because I have been getting some questions on that. Now, a regular tourist visa to come to the United States is a temporary visa, okay? So you are coming here to do tourist things. You are visiting attractions, you are visiting family, you're going to the beach, you're going to Vegas, whatever. So those are reasons to come to the United States as a tourist, and that is a general idea. That's what most people who come to the United States as tourists do. In order to do that, while it used to be that years ago you needed an invitation from someone in the United States, that is not always the case and it is not always required. So what you need to remember that in order to come to the United States on a tourist visa, you need to show the officer at the consulate or the embassy when you're getting your visa interview that you have all the reasons in the world to return back to your country when you are done doing the tourist things in the United States. So basically, you are going to the consulate or the embassy and you are going to prove with paper to the consular officer that you are going to return back to your country. So you're asking, how do you do that? Okay, how do you do that? You have to show that one, you have family ties back home. That, oh, I'm glad you're asking me that, Amaru, because it gets rejected by the embassy. A rejection, a refusal, and the denial, while they may sound the same, they are not the same. Okay, so when you're saying rejection, that means it's something you did and it didn't you didn't complete the process or you didn't pay the right fee or something else. If it is indeed a denial, it's because you didn't prove the four things. First, you need to show you have a reason to come to the United States. Come to the United States as a tourist, and you have to show what your plans are. So you are going to have to show that you have made hotel reservations, that you are going to live with a family or friend, that they are going to support you while you are here if you do have family or friend, or that you have enough money in the bank to pay for your trip, including, God forbid, something happens. And then they are going, if you need to go in a hospital, you can afford to go and pay for those things. Second thing you need to prove is family ties back home. They want to see that you have a wife or a husband back home, that you have children back home that are staying behind, because then the officer knows that you have more ties back home than you have ties in the United States. What you have to prove is that you do not intend to immigrate to the United States. Second thing you need to prove is that you have employment ties back home. So they want to see a steady job. You've been at the same job for a long time. You are making very good money for the type of job that you have back home for your own country. Of course, $1,000 is not the same in Switzerland as it is in Ghana, for example. Okay. And then the third thing you need to prove is that you have the financials. Okay. You need to show that you have financial ties back home, that is more likely than not that you are going to return back to your country. How do you do that? You have to show property ownership. You have to show business ownership. You have to show money in the bank. You have to show that you own everything. It's not necessarily all with loans from the bank, okay? So just having a certificate, like George wants to know, just having a certificate, business tie, doesn't mean much, okay? Now, if it is your business, you can show business records. If you're working for someone else, then you have to show that you have steady employment. So that addressed tourist visa, general visa, how to apply to the United States. Did you hear me say that you need an invitation from someone in the United States? No, you didn't. So that is not necessarily a thing. Do not ask for that, especially if you don't have family members in the United States. Nobody's going to be able to give you that, okay? So before I go into the topic for today, which is what family members can sponsor you for a US visa, and I mean on a permanent basis, to come here as a permanent resident, I'll address those in a second. So let me go over some of the questions, and I see some on TikTok. So let me see how many I can answer really fast. All right, good. Hi everyone. You're in Ghana, you want to relocate to the United States. Well, stay tuned, because maybe we'll address your question. We'll see. Maybe whatever I'm going to talk about will help you. If you don't have family in the United States, generally speaking, okay, there are 5 ways to come to the United States to have permanent residency in the United States, okay? One is through family, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Second is through employment. Okay, the more skilled you are and the more advanced your degree, the easier it is, but that's not always the necessary. Okay, the third is through investment. Obviously, depends on your financial situation and what can you afford to invest in the United States. And you can have to show that you're creating jobs in the United States. And then there are 2 more options. One is for those who are still outside the United States and have no way to come to the United States on a temporary basis. It's the green card lottery. Should open up in October. Stay tuned, we'll let you know. And the other one is asylum, but only if you are already in the United States. And of course, you have to prove things like that you are going to be persecuted if you're going back to your country, okay? So hopefully that answers some general question how you come to the United States. Amru, I hope my answer to how the embassy and consulates consider your visa applications. So hopefully that helps you next time. It does take about 2 to 3 months to put a proper visa application package together that is approvable. This is not an easy feat. Okay, and immigration, the consulate and the embassy, they have very wide discretion. What does that mean? That even if you meet absolutely all of the criteria, they can still say no. It's up to them. When is a case considered out of normal date? Well, thanks for asking that. So it depends on the type of case. If it is pending with USCIS, you have a receipt number, have the priority date. When the priority date has passed, considering when you check online on USCIS's website, under their tool, they have their case status. If your date has passed the inquiry date, then you can file an inquiry and see what is going on in yours. You have to wait 60 days to hear back. And generally speaking, you have to file a few of those before you actually get the real answer. If I don't have any friends or family member in the US, how can I come there? I just addressed this. So employment, investment, and pretty much it. Well, what's the date of this? Military if I'm Gambian. You need to be a permanent resident of the United States first before you join the US military. I want to study for a Master's of Science in the US. Absolutely, that's great. You need to first find a school that will accept foreign students. Then you have to apply for admission in their master's program. Once you are admitted, the school will issue a form. It's called I-20. And based on that, then you apply for the visa. Just because a school issues you the form does not guarantee that you are getting the visa. You still have to prove to the officer that you are going to come back to your country when you are done with your course of study. So like I mentioned in the beginning, when I was talking about tourist visas, where you have to show family ties, employment ties, business ties, and so on, that is what you have to prove for a student visa as well. I cannot address refugees. That is not something I handle. I don't want to give you the wrong advice. Which time are we in right now? If you're asking our time zone, we are in Eastern Standard Time. So to us right now, it's 7 a.m., 7:17 a.m. I'm in UAE. How can I find this? Google. There is no central database of jobs in the United States. So it's a capitalist country. Everybody does whatever. So you have to Google and find an employer. Once you find an employer who's willing to petition for you and sponsor you, then they are going to start the process for your visa for you. Can I call you one-on-one to seriously discuss this together? Absolutely. Our information is in my bio. Since you are on TikTok, it's on the bio. You can book a consultation with me, and the links are right there where to book it, okay? When is U.S. Embassy in Ghana accepting applications for B1, B2? Oh, I wish I could tell you. I have no idea. Here is the thing. Do you think they tell us? They don't tell us when they're going to open. We find out after they have reopened. The consulates that have reopened, and it's very few of them, are not processing yet B1, B2 visas. There are only, I think, 3 or 4 consulates in the entire world right now who got to the point that they are processing tourist visas. And the backlogs are horrible. I'm in Sierra Leone, want to come for a visit. Can I apply on my own? Yes, you can. And I addressed this in the beginning of this. You have to show that you have reservations for a hotel. You can pay for your own flight. You can support yourself while you're here to visit. You are going to return back to your country because you have family ties, financial ties, and employment ties back home. If you find that, then if you can prove that, then you can apply on your own. How many times USCIS RFE reply? Okay, so if you got a request for evidence from USCIS, you only can reply once. They will only consider the documents you send one time. So it's very important that all the documents that you want to give the government are in your response the first time you do it. That does not prevent the government from sending another RFE out if they want to, but they don't have to. If you responded to the first RFE and they still consider it is not sufficient, then they could deny your application. If you're actually getting a second RFE, then you're actually lucky. But you should always try to respond with everything you have in the initial application. And if you don't, then definitely on the RFE. How can I join my only sister in the US, my elder sister? Oh, great. So since we are on that, let's talk a little bit about, John, I'll talk to you in a minute, okay? I'll respond to this and hopefully this helps you, okay? So US citizens, okay? So assuming your older sister is a US citizen. If she is a US citizen, your US citizen relative can sponsor the following: their spouse, meaning husband or wife. Their children are under the age of 21. Their children, meaning sons or daughters, because they are no longer considered children over the age of 21. And they can sponsor their siblings, so your sister or your brother. That wait time for a US citizen to file for a sister or a brother right now is over 14 years. And if you are from Philippines, Mexico, India, and China, it's over 22 years. Please, I'm going for tourist visa, and what can fail me from getting the visa? I think I just addressed your question. If you don't, what can fail you from getting it is not filing it properly. And then second, not being able to show the consular officer in 1 minute or less that you are more likely to return back to your country because you have financial ties, family ties, and employment ties. They want to see you leaving a family back home, and that means wife and children. They want to see a very steady job with very decent income, and they want to see you own property. So basically, they want to see that it is more likely than not you are going to go back. Now, let's get back on that topic because we addressed just family members. Let's talk about permanent residents. Now, if your sister is in the United States and she is a permanent resident, not yet a US citizen, she can only sponsor a husband or a wife and children, okay? And any age children. So over the age of 21 and under the age of 21, if they are not married, okay? So there is a big difference in who can a US citizen sponsor and who can a permanent resident sponsor. I do, since you guys are on TikTok, if you look at my other TikToks, I actually did specify who can sponsor what and what are some other options, okay? How much time do you have to respond to an RFE? How many months is 83 days really? So it really is about 2.5 months. Okay. Your uncle cannot sponsor you. So Mr. Khalid, so your uncle or your aunt cannot sponsor you. I hope you were here a couple of minutes ago when I discussed that US citizens can sponsor only, if they are US citizens, can only sponsor their parents, spouse, children of any age, and then married children and brothers and sister. There is no aunt or uncle there who can sponsor you, okay? If they are a permanent resident, it's even less categories. How many months immigrant's visa? I mean spouse visa. Okay, so it depends on where you are in the process, okay? It depends on your priority date, so I would need to know a lot more about that. If it's been pending at USCIS for longer than 1.5 to 2 years, you might want to call an immigration attorney. You can call us if you'd like, and we can look into it. It should not take that long for spouses. However, most consulates have been closed for 1.5 years. If your case is past the USCIS stage, so the I-130 was approved, and now it's at NVC waiting for an interview at the consulate, that might take a little bit. When I say a little bit, over a year. All right. The link shows me that it's unsafe. The link that we have on our bio, it is safe, or you can call the number that we have. The link is definitely safe, the one on our TikTok. Okay. Maybe I'll have my team look into it, but it's definitely safe. Good morning, Agnes. Can I come as a highway truck driver? I'm from New Zealand. The only way to come here on a tourist visa, on a work visa, I'm sorry about that, is if you find an employer willing to petition for you. A highway truck driver, it's called unskilled labor, and it takes time. Amru, if I manage to get the tourist visa, can I break it and find a job in the US? You are asking me to tell you to break the law, and I'm not going to do that. I asked you 3 times, but no response. I want to visit and work in US. How to apply if you can help me get visa. First, if you asked me 3 times, I didn't respond. It's probably I didn't understand the question. I don't know what your goal is, and I still don't based on this question, because what you're asking me to tell you is basically to tell you all my 10 years of education to become an immigration lawyer. You need to be more specific than that particularly applies to you. The best option for you is to call an immigration lawyer and discuss your particular situation. Okay, so if you guys are sending me messages and I didn't respond, it's because there is no answer based on your question. Yeah, the link is safe. TikTok only warns you that you're leaving TikTok. So yes. All right. We just filled the I-29F, so the fiance. So how many months remains to be done? If you just did it, okay, the fiance visa takes about 6 to 7 months. It could take longer. It depends on their workload. And after that, it really depends on whether the consulate is processing fiance visas or not. We have had a few clients who were done with the entire process in 5 months, and we have other clients who've been waiting for over a year and a half. Fiance visa is the fastest. It's the fastest way. I'm in Ghana now. Can my brother or my business partners sponsor me? Are they in the US? What type of business do they have? How long have they been in business? What is their annual revenue? Is your education and experience in line with their business? How significant is your education? So there are so many questions, George, that I need to ask you in order to tell you if they can do it or not. Okay. It's been 4 months since I received my package on immigration, but I have not received my interview. When you say you received your package, I don't know what that means. Is it at NVC? And what kind of package are we talking about? What kind of visa you're applying for? What consulate? I need more information. I cannot help you. I cannot help refugees. So I'm sorry, Benton. I cannot help you because I don't know enough about it and I don't want to give you the wrong advice. Okay. All right, good. So we addressed quite a bit today. Okay. Let's see. I'm an electrician. Hold on. Somebody just said in Saudi from 2011, and I want to come to USA. Find an employer willing to sponsor foreign nationals. The employer in the US needs to show that they cannot find a qualified worker in the United States, and that's why they need to hire you from abroad. Okay, so I've been talking for 30 minutes. It's 7 o'clock for me in the morning, 7:30. So it's time for me to have my second coffee. A pleasure seeing you guys. And I will not be here tomorrow because I am going to get some updates on training on immigration, because immigration law changes all the time and we need to make sure we are up to date so we can help you guys. So again, I'm immigration attorney Connie Kaplan in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We help immigrants everywhere make the United States their permanent home. Give us a call if you think we can help you. Make sure you actually have already a passport and you have a way to come to the United States before you give us a call, so you are not wasting your time. So looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye-bye.